What's up, Rachel, or whichever of Rachel's team is getting this video? I just listened to my first podcast of yours. First thing I've ever seen, heard, read, consumed by you. I was suggested to listen to your podcast by an acquaintance on the basis that your stuff was real, raw, engaging, and genuine. And I count myself as an enthusiast of those adjectives, right? Like, my game, I write a blog on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter called the Alt Dad Diary, and my whole game is like, fuck the Facebook facade, fuck the Instagram filter, fuck all this like pretending and mask. Like, let's just dig really deep and talk really truthfully about what's actually going on in our heads. Let's talk about the crashing cymbals. Let's talk about the cognitive dissonance. Let's talk about the and your podcast, this last podcast, the Valentine's Day podcast, when you mentioned that, and even just to hear you swear is refreshing, you know, like to hear like how people actually feel and speak, how they actually think, to actually like, let's get that slice of stream of consciousness, like fuck the filter. And it's just so validating, it's so energizing, it's so beautiful and inspiring, and I'm going to follow you and look forward to more of your shit to come. I think it's fantastic. Even though my wife tells me I shouldn't swear at all around our little 7-month-old baby girl, which I also think is perhaps wise, not sold. But I found it really interesting about midway through this episode how you said that, you know, like when you post on Instagram these raw moments, right, these raw body shots or these raw head shots, headspace biopsies, you don't get as many likes, you don't get as much comments, you don't get as much traction, as much viewership. And that when you post the like babe body, you know, perfect, like la-di-da, like everybody's into it. And I think that's really interesting, that like honesty and vulnerability and really telling the truth comes at a cost. Like, it's not a popular enterprise. And that's hard to hear, right? Because that's my MO. And I feel like I can confirm that. But it's interesting, right? Like, if your game is truth-telling and your game is vulnerability and your game is authenticity, and you admit that like that's a project that a lot of people don't want to hear, you know, it's tough. It's a tough battle. So I just thought that was really interesting and commendable that you noted that, and that you were able to package that in like a single sentence or two. And I appreciated the whole talk, from the advertising awareness and the openness there to the real talk, to the idea that like, yeah, to calling out social media as being this like blah 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 perfect babe body. Yeah, I agree. Fuck all that. And I think the tides are turning. I think hopefully soon it will be the case that you get penalized for bullshitting and you get rewarded with likes for just saying it like it is. I think that's dope. So, namaste, and check out my shit. It's called the Alt, as in alternative, the Alt Dad Diary. Talk about being a dad, being a millennial man, being a straight millennial man. Talk about psychology, headspace, semi-sobriety, yoga, college English teaching, psychedelics, depression, being a melancholy millennial, anxiety, not knowing what the future looks like, being under the federal poverty line, all that good stuff. Namaste. Peace.